right, we ready?
Everybody good? All right, go ahead.
Okay, exciting time of the year. First week, game week's finally here. You know, when you go through fall camp, you know it can be a grind, but our guys have handled it well. I think we've done a nice job pacing our team and making it where when they get to game week, we're fresh, but yet we've got enough work. I think Coach Brown does a great job with that. But this time of year is really exciting. You know, you see college football on TV, and the opportunity for us to play in a huge game in Charlotte, and the opportunity to play on a national stage is going to be a lot of fun. And I know our team's really excited about it. I think we've made progress. I think we've improved offensively. I think that's what you're looking for every day is to go out and improve every day, and our guys have had that approach. They've done everything we've asked them to do, and now it's time for us to narrow some things down and figure out exactly how we're going to attack South Carolina this weekend, and hopefully a bunch of plays that we can execute at a high level. I think that's what you're looking for early in the season. You know, a lot of times first games, you want to make sure your execution is at a high level and not trying to do too much and not trying to put ourselves in position that we haven't been in practice. I think that's really important, that allowing our team to play at a high level. You know, if we can practice things that we've done and things that fit the team we're playing, and we can execute those things at a higher level, I think that's the opportunity to score some points and play well on offense. So looking forward to this week, getting started tomorrow, really kind of our first week. Normal first, that's a great song. Normal first week.
Went off with Mac, and Mac didn't like the song.
Oh, we did? Okay. Okay, I don't like it either then. Yeah, I don't like it if he don't like it. So no, I'm all kidding aside, we're excited. Tomorrow will be our first quote day of the week for a game, and that's something I know our team's looking forward to. And we've had some opportunities because of preseason camp to get a little bit of a head start, but really now it's time to focus on our opponent and start this season. It's exciting and looking forward to it. Questions?
Do you have a good feel for the offense, for what you have, and how much is that kind of affected with the unknown factor with Tez?
You know, I think so. I mean, we've been able to go through spring practice, and you're still learning the names and learning the numbers and what our team might be good at or not. We had a lot of time in the summer to really evaluate spring practice and look at what we thought was good, what our team's capable of doing. I think the key to playing good offense is building it around the strengths of your team, and that's something when you come in new you have to learn and you have to figure out, and then once you get into summer, you try to hone in on some things, and they have their own workouts and things to do, but you also now get a little time with them in the summer, and I thought we took advantage of that time. I think it's 2 hours a week, if I remember right. During the summer, we get to spend with them and really do some football stuff on the field, which is kind of new within the last couple of years. Being a former high school coach, you got way more time in high school in the summer than you do in college with your players. So I think that's an advantage. And then as we move through fall camp, I think we narrowed some things down and trying to build the offense around the strengths of our team. And I think that's kind of what the message is to our players. Let's execute the things that we think we can execute at a high level. Let's run those things. Let's figure out who our playmakers are, which I feel like we're better in that area right now, and try to get those guys the ball as many times as we can.
Given that Tez is one of the strengths of your team, what is the challenge in game planning with and game planning without?
Well, we're hopeful to hear something very soon, and we'll see how that plays out. The one thing we have is a room full of guys that have played some. I think we've got some experience in that room, and Tez is a difference maker, we believe, for sure, but I think that room's pretty strong as well, and those guys are ready to step up, and they'll have a role anyway. So I think for me, we're just trying to build the offense around what we're capable of doing, what we can be good at, and if Tez is there, that's even better.
Chip, how often have you simulated this game, or at least the first quarter or so of this game in your head, since the schedule came out?
Yeah, in my head, probably a lot. Just trying to get us off to a good start, and again, it goes back to that process of identifying what we might be good at, and how we can be successful early in a game. These big games like this to start the year are always a lot of excitement. There is some anxiety, I think, sometimes with your players, and you want to make sure that everybody's not too geeked up and too excited. Other places I've been, we've had some big openers, and that was always a challenge. But at the end of the day, if you do the things your players are comfortable doing and that you've practiced and done, I think that's the key to success and playing well early. The old saying that you make your biggest improvements from week 1 to week 2. Some of that is because of anxiety of playing the first game of the year, and guys are excited, And so we need to limit all the negative plays we can, which are self-inflicted wounds, penalties, lost yardage plays, sacks, turnovers. That's our goal. That's all we're focusing on right now. And South Carolina's got a good football team. They're going to make some plays. We understand that, but we have to limit the self-inflicted wounds, and I think that's kind of where our focus has been.
Does it feel like it's been 8 months or so since you got the job here, or has it all been a blur?
Well, it's moved fast. I really believe, I was able to get here in December during bowl prep, which was, I think, a huge advantage because at least I got to know the players and the guys that we have that are still here on staff. I think that was a huge advantage, but it seems like it's moved really fast, and then now here we are talking about week 1, so that's exciting, but it's been a blur somewhat.
How much do you accommodate with your play calling or your thinking of what you want to do with the clock rules that may give you fewer opportunities to run snaps?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And watching some of the games the last few days that have been on, you definitely know that there's less plays, right? I don't know if it's 10 or I don't know if it's 6 or 8, whatever. It's probably too small of a sample size to know yet. But I think what you do realize is that each drive maybe is more important than before the clock rule, right? Each opportunity in the red zone maybe is more important, and it'll be interesting to see how it feel after the game. But I think there is a little bit of a sense of urgency that we know we're going to get less plays. Now that can be a good thing too, because if you can, run the ball effectively or control the clock, even with a short passing game or whatever it is you're doing on offense, I think that's a huge advantage. You limit the number of opportunities the other team gets, and the bottom line is we want to win the football game. That's what we're looking to. Our staff, we're in this thing together. We're trying to do what's best for our team to win the football game, but we'll see how that plays out. And it has been something I've thought about and really watched some games in the past few days to try to see if there was a huge difference. Several years ago, I'd say back in 14, 15, that area, it was how many times can we snap the ball and make the defense tired, right? And how many times people were snapping the ball 90, sometimes 100 times in a game. And, sometimes you put your defense in a bad position when you do that. So that's something we're definitely aware of. But at the same time, I don't know that you'll get those same number of snaps anymore. So we'll see how it plays out.
Chip, when you're installing the game plan, how much is a quarterback like Drake involved in that? Is it more of a collaborative effort when you have someone like him? Is it more just back and forth?
Yeah, I think every year that I've coached high school or college, your quarterback's heavily involved in there. I don't want to call plays that the quarterback doesn't feel good about. At the end of the day, if I like to play and think it's a good play, but he doesn't feel confident in the play or doesn't feel great about seeing it, sometimes they don't see things the same, then we throw that out. So every year I've ever coached, our quarterbacks have been involved, and Drake's no different. Obviously, he's a really intelligent guy and advanced in football knowledge and so forth, but at the end of the day, it's what is he comfortable with and can we execute that?
When you say he's intelligent and advanced in football knowledge, where does that stand out? Where do you see that in preparation?
Where do I see what now?
His intelligence in football.
Yeah, I think understanding what the defense is trying to do with their either pressure or coverage. I think he understands what concepts probably fit based on the coverage and things that we're going to see. And I think his opinion is very important, just like any other quarterback I've had. But I think for him, he's a football junkie and he studies the game and. If this team's a cover 3 team, what are the plays that we have that are really good against cover 3 or quarters or man or whatever it is you're seeing each and every week? And I think we involve all our quarterbacks heavily on that. And even some of the guys that are the backups, they're all really smart guys, and sometimes they'll have great ideas as well. But it's a collaborative effort for sure with our quarterbacks. Go ahead.
Chip Mack touched on last time in South Carolina, and UNC played. It was one of the worst games he'd ever coached, and he kind of regrets to it to this day. Obviously, you weren't on staff during that game. Have you had any discussions with him or anyone within the program about that game? Or I guess how aware are you of how much that bitter taste is left in your mouth?
Not really. I that was 2 years ago. I was at Troy. Nothing really. I understand they played and saw the score and all that kind of stuff, but no really factor for me.
Chip, with the running game specifically, what do you see that as a marriage of the Gus Malzahn and Art Briles systems? Is that maybe an accurate way to describe what you guys are trying to do? And just how do you see this running game sort of working as compared to what UNC did last year?
You know, I think run plays are run plays. Concepts are concept. You know, Gus Malzahn, he runs inside zone. So did the guys when Art was coaching. So I don't see it as being this system or that system. Again, it really goes back to what our guys are capable of doing. You know, where is our strengths up front with the 5 offensive linemen? Are we a better gap scheme team, or are we a better zone scheme team? I think that comes into effect. You know, the times I was with Gus at Auburn, different places, we were a huge inside zone team. We were very little anything else, but that was kind of what he hung his hat on, and still does. And you know, with Randy coming in and his experience in that other system with Art and those guys that he's been with, I think, you know, they were an inside zone team as well with maybe a little twist on it, but they also ran a lot more gap schemes. So I think we have the ability to do both. Okay, but each week they don't all fit, and that's kind of the challenge and the exciting part each and every week is figuring out what's the best way to run the football this week based on our personnel and the fronts and things we're seeing. So I can't tell you that it's going to be this or that. I just think it's going to fit our team.
Do you think just to follow up,
Yeah.
do you think you could be more downhill, sort of north-south, just from a comparative sense, like from a wide-angle view?
I think we want to be, for sure. I think that's something each team that, I got a daughter in college, and she would get on me, Dad, y'all ran the same play up the middle every time, and it really wasn't true, right? We were running some zone scheme, some gap scheme, but to the average person, it might look like that. Definitely, we want to have a downhill element, physical offense. That's what we're looking to do. At the same time, if you're not capable of doing that, then we don't want to do that for sure. And I will say the 4 years Coach has been here, we've been good on offense, so we're not trying to reinvent the wheel for sure. But again, it goes back. I know I keep saying it, but high school coach, college coach, NFL, it doesn't matter. Like, let's build the offense around the strengths of our team, and we'll see how that plays out. We may think right now that this is what we're going to be good at, and then we start playing. And I've had this happen in my career several times. By the end of the season, you're like, wow, we wasn't even really running that early in the season, or that scheme or that concept. By the end of the season, it's our best play. So I think there's still some of that to be said. And, we definitely want to have a physical edge, though, offensively up front, as well as even the skill guys. And that's something that's really important to me.
Chip, in regards to the wide receiver room, Kobe Paysor was a player last year.
Mm-hmm.
His numbers went up, I guess, in the games in which Josh Downs wasn't able to play. I understand you all are prepping for Chris Walker to be able to play,
Right.
But with Kobe Paysor, what are some of the things that you've seen from him that you believe will allow him to be an effective wide receiver, regardless of the situation, just an effective wide receiver as well?
I think Kobe is a guy that since I've been here, has improved route running wise. We give him a lot of opportunities to make decisions on the move, which I think is something he's really improved on. He's worked extremely hard on catching the ball with his hands and not with his body, which I think you see that. He even did that in the games last year. But I thought in the spring that was one area he needed to improve, and he has. He's a veteran guy that's played some, like you mentioned earlier. The goal for Lonnie and myself is to have like 6 guys that are capable of playing and rotating in. That's what Coach all the time is talking about, building depth with your blue group and the guys that are going to play. And so I think it's important. Like that, I'm sure there'll be times that we'll want certain guys in the game, depending on the game situation. But I trust Lonnie tremendously that we'll have guys in there that can execute and play. And those are before the game talks we have. Hey, this guy's going to play this many snaps or whatever. Or now this guy's banged up. Now what do we do? Do we move a guy over and so forth? And Kobe's very versatile. He can play inside or outside. And I really like his competitiveness. He does a great job competing for the ball when it's in the air, and I think he's continuing to make progress and improve each and every day.
Just real quick, you said him making decisions on the move is some piece of growth. What do you mean by that?
If it's a choice concept or an option concept or an opportunity for him to decide based on coverage where he's going to run or what he's going to do, that we have elements of that in the passing game, which they've had here before I got here as well. So I think that's something an area that he's definitely a guy we trust a whole lot to make those good decisions.
You guys, you mentioned it, and Max mentioned about George Pettaway getting more work in slot. What are some of the things that he does well in slot? And can you kind of run him in a slot sort of out of the backfield? There's some quirky things maybe you can do?
Yeah, I think George has a unique skill set in that he's played running back, so he's got the ability with a running back skill set to catch the ball as well in space. He's a natural pass catcher, I think. He's probably a guy that can play in space as well as any of our receivers. Also, you can hand him the ball in a run play as well. So I think the challenge each and every week is how do we use him? How does he fit that week? Some weeks maybe better than others, but I really like what he's doing and he's a smart kid, so he understands the passing game from the receiver standpoint as well as from the running back standpoint, which involves protections as well as route running. Sometimes we can free release him and let him run routes, but I like what I've seen out of him. Very, very athletic, very, very sudden, quick change of direction, and has caught the ball really well too.
Chip, with the talent like Bryson Nesbitt is, just the length, stretchiness, the red zone, the threat that he is in the red zone, and a veteran like Kamari Morales is, how has John Copenhaver distinguished himself in that group? That group has so much to offer, and those guys are so experienced and so good. Like, how has he become the number one dude at that position for you guys?
I don't know if he's number one or not. I know that room is very unique because they are all very versatile. They can line up in space, they can line up in the backfield, they can even attach their hand on the ground. And that's the versatility that you want in that position. If you look around the NFL or college football, the best tight ends, that's what they are. And I think they all have similar skill sets. If you had to nail it down and say this guy is probably better at doing this or that, we can probably do that, and that's something we want to keep to ourselves, obviously, for game plan. But I think they're all three veteran guys that have played a lot of snaps. That's important. That's huge, and especially early in the season. They're very versatile. They're very intelligent guys, and I think they all bring an element, and they're tough guys. I mean, Coach Kitchens is tough on them, and makes those guys be physical each and every day, holds them to a high standard, and I think that room is very, very talented. I'm excited about watching them play.
Just to follow up on that, could you see yourselves possibly getting more creative with the tight ends if you don't have like a vertical threat like a Tez? Could you see, I don't know, two guys on the field at the same time?
Well, I think that's definitely an option. But I will say again, like the receiver room we have a lot of guys that have played some, and Tez is huge. I think the kid deserves to play, and we're excited that hopefully that'll happen. But at the end of the day, we do have some guys in that room that have played as well, and we have some guys that improved. So we'll see how the game plan plays out throughout the week. But again, I love that tight end room, and I love the receiver room, and the challenge I think is what fits best each and every week. All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
You welcome.